Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to another edition of the Critical Beard Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, the Cardinal, and this is my other host.
Hi, I'm the one who was almost forgotten for a second there. Meatball.
He's spicy. He's spicy.
I'm feeling spicy today.
I had a little bit too many chimichangas.
I wish.
So good, man. We got quite a show for you today. We're gonna get into some stuff. We're gonna talk some things. We got a great topic today. I think you're gonna enjoy it. I really do. But first, we're gonna do what you playing.
What you playing?
What you playing? And someone, what you playing?
Really need to come up with the little like song bumper we can pop in right there.
What you playing?
B-. I'm playing.
I'll take it.
Hey, that's passing. That's above average, man.
I win.
I'm playing. What am I playing? Animal Crossing. Hey, your hand.
Hey. And
Chrono Trigger. I'm playing Chrono Trigger.
Is that never heard of either one of those. Are those popular games?
So good. You can't see my face because of the shadows, but I'm smiling.
You can't see my face because of the shadows.
Yeah, I'm playing through Chrono Trigger right now.
How many times have you played through Chrono Trigger?
Oh, I don't know, maybe like 6, 7 times.
I think that's definitely my top 5 like most started games where I'll just just start it just to play through like at least the first like 5 hours or so or whatever. Yeah. And then I always like something happens and I kind of fall off of it, but like I always have started that game so many times just because it's just like it's like comfort food. It's just
yeah. And it's been a while since I've sat down and like really played Chrono Trigger. Like talk to every NPC, just like really like sunk my teeth into, combat design and dungeon design. I'm just really getting down to the nitty gritty.
Really,
it's a great game.
Great game. Yeah.
It's almost unfair how good it is. Like the more I'm playing, I'm just like, it's obvious that the guy what's his name? The Dragon Quest guy.
Akira.
No, not
Akira.
Yoshi. God dang it! Ding dong, diddly boo, Yoshihori. It's something like that.
Yeah, you're talking about the guy who created Dragon.
Yeah. It's like the creator. The creator of Dragon Quest and Sakaguchi, the creator of Final Fantasy. You can tell that they came together and they made the gosh darn most perfect game ever.
Well, clearly they like. It was because when you have that kind of like that collaboration, it's either amazing or it's terrible because it's either too many cookies. It's either
true. Yeah.
It's either cowboys and aliens. You remember
or
that
Jurassic
movie?
Park.
or it's Indiana Jones, right? Like it's like
heck, man. Even Indiana Jones was a risk. Like I don't know. Like there really is like two. There's the first Star Wars, which it's a miracle that movie even got made in the first place, and it became like this universal, worldwide, like multi-generational spectacle. And then there's Jurassic Park that like they knew it was gonna be successful. I mean, they had every, Stan Winston, Steve Spielberg, Michael Crichton, great cast. But yeah, this is like the Jurassic Park of video games. It's like they knew this was gonna, and it's great. There will be a nice, long, juicy rumination on it at some point.
I like the comparison that it's the Star Wars video games, but whatever.
It's not because Star Wars was just a perfect accident.
Yeah, this may have been an accident. Maybe they just tripped and fell and they made a game.
You have not read all the interviews about Star Wars, okay? Look at my face. Can you see it?
This is a face of a ghost that you see before you die.
Ready? Shadow
Selma.
But yeah, Chrono Trigger and Animal Crossing. Still kind of plowing through Animal Crossing. I might as well not even say Animal Crossing because I'm gonna be playing it for the next
forever.
Hey,
it's called what you're
10
playing,
months, so
you gotta say what you're playing, or else we're gonna question your
that's true. And
credibility,
without integrity,
integrity.
what am I?
What are
you,
dude?
Not much. I don't know.
A chump, a damn fool,
like a chump. All right, what's you playing?
Me playing.
Me play.
A couple games right now. I'm playing three, not a couple, but 3, and I'm playing all of them because I have certain times, because like during the day my baby he goes to sleep and I have to play a game that I can kind of sit in the living room and play with like low sound on my Switch. So during that time I'm playing Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna, the Golden Country, which is a prequel to the first game. It's a standalone expansion, but it's really just its own game. It's like, I mean, when a game is like 25 hours long, and they're like, it's an expansion, but it's standalone. It's like,
that's what expansions used to be, though.
But you couldn't go buy a physical copy of just the expansion.
No, you could.
No.
Yeah, I was there. Dude. There. Okay. I was there. I went to Babbage's. I bought. Okay, I didn't buy any computer video games. The only computer video game I played was like Doom and Quake. So,
Yeah, but see, even the computer ones, if you got the expansion, you either had to have the original already downloaded, or you had to buy like the full pack that had.
But they were still like much larger. I don't know. I just think it's good that DLCs are becoming what they used to be again. Like
this is Nintendo, man. When you get a separate cart that's a 25-hour long.
Maybe it's Nintendo. Nintendo loves to make people spend more money than they need to. It's a bad example.
No, I'm saying like, they don't come out if it's on a separate cart. It's at that point, it's not really like DLC anymore. It's like its own game.
No, it's an expansion.
I hate you. But anyways, that game is great. It actually starts so much better than 2 does. It's just the characters. I mean, it does help to have context. So I would say like play at least like 30 to 40 hours of 2.
You hear yourself. You play the worst part of the second game so you can get some context for the good part.
Well, come on, man. You can totally play this without any context, because I mean they introduce the characters. It's a prequel, so they introduce the characters, but they're characters that are in the game, the main game. But it starts so much stronger, and the characters are all just so much more likable, just right off the bat. That it's just
Rex is super likable.
What?
Rex is super likable.
I don't hate Rex, but I mean,
I sure don't like him.
These characters are so much more just like instantly just like, oh, this is dope. And then like an adventure just starts right away. There's like not a ton of hand holding. It's just like, boom, okay, you're good, go.
And why isn't there a lot of hand holding? Because it's an expansion.
Actually,
you already know how
to
play.
Kind of. There's
backtracking.
There's some hand holding, but it's really good. It's already really, really good. I'm like 4 hours in. And then I'm playing a game called Time Spinner on the Switch, which is an indie title. It's literally, if you took the sprites straight out of Chrono Trigger and the time stuff, the time travel straight out of Chrono Trigger, and then added in the the Symphony of the Night, I mean it's Symphony of the Night, and then you peppered in some like really like almost like Xeno level like lore in there. There's like all kinds of crazy books you can read about the Empire's history and there's just a bunch of stuff in there. If you really want to like chew on stuff, like there's a whole bunch of history that you need to add in there. But there's like tons of like stuff to read and diaries and files and stuff. But yeah, you like start in this like super future, and then you get like taken all the way back to like the tribal times, and you're on different planets. Like there's like portals to different planets, like Stargate and stuff in there too. It's like it's fucking really good so far. I can't believe that this game has been slept on as much as it has. Like I don't know why more people haven't talked about it. But
I never even heard of it.
Dude, it's like $20, and it's like if you have a Switch and you like Metroidvanias and you like Chrono Trigger, geez, man, go spend $20. You're gonna have a great time with this thing. I mean, so far, unless the game just like turns to dog shit, and you're like, even the controls are really, really tight and good. Like, just feels good to play. I'm liking it, and I'm also playing a little game called The Last of Us Part 2. We're gonna have some.
Last of Us Part Poo.
There's no controversy surrounding this game at all.
I know. I'm surprised about how just under the radar this game is.
Yeah, just a lax review.
I expected everyone on the internet to be talking about this game, but I don't know. Sometimes it's super unpredictable. The internet, they're never. You never can really. You never know what the internet's gonna do. So.
Everybody's got their panties in a wad over a spoiler that's totally out of context. That everyone's like, "What? This is so disrespectful to this character."
Like, I mean, I already knew about the spoiler, and I did watch a pretty good amount of the game, the game, and I can see where they're coming. I see where they're coming from. But also on the other hand, who cares? I didn't want a Last of Us 2. So Last of Us 2. So
did we?
I don't really like, even when they dropped it. How many years ago? 3 years ago back or whatever. I was not excited about it. I'm like, okay. Yeah, when they dropped the. Oh my gosh!
No,
it's coming.
I was the same way.
Not excited, and I'm still not excited about it because it's just like, I don't know. Last of Us 1 just felt like just this perfect little thing. It's like, I don't care to explore these characters. I don't care to explore this setting. I'm done.
It was a game that very much could have existed in a vacuum. But to me, so far, it's actually a lot like Blade Runner 2049, where did it need to exist? Nope. Am I really glad that it does? Yes, because the game is absolutely breathtaking and awesome, and I'll go into that more.
I'm sure it looks great, but
it's so good, and
that's not all a game is, Robin.
No. But the game, the gameplay, it feels. This is all I'll say about it, and then I'll give you some more impressions on my impression video here. We're gonna drop later this week, hopefully. It feels more like a video game to me. Like, it feels more gamey. Like, I can actually like sit down, and I love just like playing, because they give you these huge arenas to fight the enemies, and like you're in this like jungle, and it turns you into like Rambo. And most of the game, like you don't have like some other character following you that you need to worry about. Like, you're kind of alone, and you're just, I don't know. It feels more like Rambo or Metal Gear, and you're just like. You're just like, I don't know, you're a badass, and you have so many more tools at your disposal. So you just like, like I'll like set a mine over here, and then like, and they added dogs now and this shit. It's like they can smell your track.
You like killing dogs? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
So I don't, but these dogs in this game are the worst, because they smell you and they know. So you can go prone in this game, which is amazing. Because I know it doesn't sound like much, but you can jump, you can prone, and you have a dodge button, which makes the game feel so much more
nimble. Who do you think
you're talking to? And it feels a lot more like a Metal Gear 5 sandbox kind of. So at times, of course, there's linear experiences, then it funnels you into this big open like thing. But when you set up the mines perfectly, and you set up traps and stuff, and then you grab a little glass bottle and just like break it, and everybody's like, "What the hell was that?" And they're like, the dog comes running over. And then the dogs go, and the dog's like, "Brr," and I'm like, "Yeah, I told you, don't you come get me." I'm not about killing dogs, but these dogs are assholes.
No, man, they promised that there would be no dog killing, and
they never promised that.
I saw it.
I saw it on the internet.
I saw the article. They said you don't have to kill dogs if you don't want to, and I can't believe that this thing that's based purely on choice is making me kill dogs in a virtual world.
Yeah, if there's anything we know about The Last of Us, it's that it's all about player decision and not about
right. The end of the first one was literally like the opposite of that.
Wait, whoa. Like, hey, stop it. Can I turn around? Do I have to do this? Okay.
Yeah. I have to do this, and there's nothing Ellie can do about it, and I have to lie to her at the end. It's like,
So it's really good so far. It's great. I'm loving it. I'm like 13 hours in. So
halfway.
Yeah, I'll have impressions like with this game. Usually impressions, I don't have to put too much time to give you like initial impressions. But this is one of those games I feel like I need to get. I need to
finish.
I almost need to finish it to give you my full impressions, just because it's such a story based thing. So anyways,
you play games like that. I mean, it's nice that the gameplay's nice, but the gameplay for me is just a secondary, which sounds strange for a game. It's like gameplay is secondary for a game like that.
Yeah, and the last thing I'll say about it is that if you know what the spoiler is, it is even like later on. It is just, it's so out of context. It's like if you were to read that Darth Vader was Luke's father and you never saw Empire Strikes Back, and you were just like, that doesn't make any sense. That's such a stupid fucking twist. Like, like, because it totally, because there's the argument that, oh man, that destroys the characters, that destroys the whole original trilogy, because Ben said, there's even that awkward line where he's like, well, what I told you was true from a certain point of view. But it's like, if you heard all that like before even seeing the movie, you'd be like, that's so dumb, really.
Well, even in context, it's kind of dumb.
I got the original Last of Us spoiled for me. But when I read the spoiler, it was so ridiculous that I didn't believe it. I thought it was a joke, because I was like, oh, you do this and you go and just do all that to all these people, and then that's the end? What? And I was like, no, that's obviously not real. Like, this guy's just trolling. And then when that was the ending,
I can't wholly agree with you, but
what?
That the context saves it, but that's a different conversation.
Did you not like the ending of the first game?
No, I'm talking about the second one.
Oh, well, yeah. Because the whole game is the context. So even if you've seen a little bit of it, there's so much around it. There's so much more to the story that I can't say anything about here, but there's so much more to it that adds to the context of, the actual experience. And so, like, trust me, it's not just like some stupid fucking decision that's just like, oh, and then it's just, thrown out the window. Like, there's more to it. So anyways, we'll cruise on to you know what? Let's go to our main topic.
What is? What?
We are gonna be
VR Troopers.
That is not a game.
Oh, yeah, it is actually.
No.
We are the youth of a nation.
We are. Stop it.
Ah.
So we are going to tell you mine and Meatball's top 10 favorite video game tracks of all time.
Faves.
Now there's some stipulations here.
There's each list.
A little bit of stipulation. So, we didn't want this to be a boring thing or like some sort of like thing. So,
yeah.
So we each
we could just be like, here's a list of
Final Fantasy and Zelda
of Uematsu and Koji Kondo, and then it would be a list, and then I'd be like, well, technically,
yeah,
it would be boring.
We could just have a list of nothing but like Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy VII music. Like, literally, my list could just be those two games. I could just have my top 10 favorite songs from those games. But it's not. So we each picked just one franchise and picked a song from that franchise, and we also tried to not be super on the nose with it. Like, we were trying to pick some tracks that aren't super on the nose. Now, maybe one or two you might consider them to be that way, but fuck you. This is our fucking podcast. And
yeah, my list, it's kind of the B-sides to your list, I feel.
Mm-hmm. Your list is like, dude, your list is the indie cool guy. Your list is the indie cool guy of my list. My list is like Metallica, and your list is like fucking
Radiohead or something.
Yeah, I don't even know. Like,
I'm just trying to think something like the opposite of Metallica. Good.
But I guess we get started and check out some songs, some tunes. We're gonna play a little tune for you of each track.
Play a little bit. You know what I mean?
So you can experience it yourself. So I think, Anselmo Meatball Formolo, what is your first track on your list?
My first track is the now my phone decides to not work. It is the Mass Effect 1 start menu. I freaking love this song. Sometimes, I'm not even gonna lie, like I'll just start up Mass Effect 1 and just leave it at the start menu and just like take a nap.
Oh, it's great. Yeah.
It's just like super calming. It has that like deep, like moody synth kind of mood, and then like just like this wave, like it's super soothing. It sets up the tone of the game super well as this like, obvious sci-fi. Yeah, it has like a sci-fi, but not like it's like this is sci-fi, but this isn't your grandpa sci-fi.
Yeah, it's like this is like the thoughtful man's sci-fi, like Moon.
Clint Mansell. It's a great soundtrack. So yes, let's bring it up. I don't know who wrote this song, but I'll put it up on the screen. Super moody. Yeah, I would literally just put that game on and just not start it and just
terrific
take a nap.
track. I still don't think I do think the second game is a better game, but I think the first game has so much more like mystery,
it has much more atmosphere
and atmosphere to it. That opening, and just the fact that you could explore those planets and stuff, and just that like that it had that very just like somber, like that lonely sci-fi feel, but that theme, the title theme, really sells you. I actually thought of that title theme while I was making my list.
That was the first song I thought of. I'm like, I'm gonna put that Mass Effect song. I freaking love it.
It's just but like you said, it sets the mood for that whole game. And it's just so ambient and just so like you feel like you're in a massage parlor in space.
Yeah, you might get a massage on Venus. What the hell?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's a good song to put on if you're having a panic attack.
Yeah, but it might exacerbate it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because then you're like,
I'm turning into a space baby.
Fuck, I'm on another planet. Sandworms. Yeah, good stuff.
Spice.
The spice.
The sleeper must awaken. Oh, I cannot wait till that movie.
God damn, me neither.
Oh boy. All right.
So next up is me.
What you got for?
I've got a little game you probably never heard of. The Legend of Zelda.
This is the only Koji Kondo song on the list.
Yeah.
Because he's written every great video game Nintendo song ever.
This one, this is actually like so I didn't just like deflect all the other Zelda songs because they're popular or whatever. This is actually my favorite Zelda song.
I'll agree with you because this is actually a song I thought about putting on, but I'm like, it's a little too on the nose for my list. But it's probably my favorite Zelda song. It's up there, top 3 favorite Zelda songs.
It's easy. Because you kind of have to play halfway through the game to even get there. So like,
it's a deviation of the overworld motif. It's just this cool.
It's like this backwards version. It's this like evil version of the overworld song, it's got this like sense of like darkness. Obviously, it's the Dark World, the track that.
Yes, we haven't even said what song it is.
It's Dark World, Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. It's the Dark World overworld song, and it plays, and it's just this very like
the way it starts.
It's got a very like explorative vibe, but it's very sinister compared to the big bombastic, like more like happy overworld theme of the main game, of the main world. So it's just got this dark twist to it, and I love it.
Do you remember how you felt when you? Because I mean, everyone remembers when playing Link to the Past for the first time when you're a kid, and and you think you beat the game, right? You're like, I beat Agnem, whoever that
Yeah.
is, and then oh no, that was the first third of the game, and then
I,
you're introduced to this amazing theme song right offhand.
I literally I think I just stood there. I stood there because when I was a kid and I really loved game tracks, I would just like play that level just to like listen to that song. There's a couple later on in this list that I did the same, where I would just stand there and listen to it.
Yep.
Just like, this is so cool. And when it's overworld music, it's so much easier to just like listen to over and over again because you hear it all the time.
It's designed to be repeatable. You know?
And it was my ringtone for a long time because I just like never get sick of it. And I absolutely love this. So this is the Dark World theme, Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past.
Amazing song.
What that song does for me is, and you'll probably get a kind of feeling of what kind of music I like on my list versus what music and someone likes, but I love a good melancholy, and that's to me it's just this melancholy, sad adventure song, and I love that because the overworld,
it definitely has
cool, but it's just too bright.
Yeah, the Dark World thing definitely like it has the same motif as the Light World, but it has this minor touch. You know what I mean? It's like everything's like in a minor scale. And it just gives like it just gives a sense of like inversion instead of outversion.
Yeah.
You're very smart.
You went from being the hero of this world to being like, where the fuck am I?
Yeah.
Like holy shit.
Yeah.
So love it.
And then when you first get there, like the wind's howling, it's like, and you hear like, you're like, what the fuck is going on? That's fantastic.
Wind's howling.
Rain's coming or whatever.
Wind's howling. Looks like rain.
Yeah, there you go. Looks like rain. Fantastic. All right. Good pick.
What's your next song, bud?
Oh, I before we move on, that song, that Legend of Zelda song, years back, 2015 maybe, me and Mercedes went to the Legend of Zelda concert in San Antonio.
You lucky slut. It
was super great, first of all, and they played Dark World, and then they played like a track from Link's Awakening. I was one happy camper. That was a great show.
Did they play Telltale Heights? Is that what they played?
Yeah,
that was Telltale Heights. So I debated forever between Telltale Heights and Dark World because those are my two favorite Zelda songs.
Telltale, that is a really good. That's hard because Telltale Heights is really, really fantastic, like melody.
In Telltale Heights, that part when it has that part almost like Cosmo Canyon, right, where it's just like. Da 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 ba 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 which I actually feel that the remix lost something.
No, because the way it was originally arranged, like it's set up, it had like momentum to go right into that loop. Like it just and it just starts over.
When it goes into it has such a heavy bass bit tune, that, and when they added the instrumentation and the violin and stuff, like
it stopped.
It's still really good. It's still awesome, and I love that it exists. But it didn't have the punch that the original had.
That's why I had to put some older games on my list because I love full orchestration as much as the next guy, but some compositions lead themselves. They're better with more modern or electronic.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of songs in Final Fantasy VII that do that as well.
What was yeah, in the remake, Final Fantasy VII remake. I mean, it was a great soundtrack, but some of the songs, they didn't have the punch because the instrumentation was wrong.
Those Who Fight Further is one that to me, I think in the original, it has that like real raw guitar.
Yeah.
In the remake, it's like
because they're playing on violins, you know.
And I'm like, I need a guitar. Give me that guitar, baby.
Yeah.
All right. What's
What's
your
next
pick?
up? Time to take a spooky turn.
I hate spooky games.
So this is from Silent Hill. Apparently, this is like a super popular song. You were told me. I never hear anyone talk about the song.
It's kind of like
I'm a long time.
It wasn't talked about at the time, and it's like now looked back on like kind of like a hidden gem, I think.
Well, technically, I think Silent Hill 1 is a better soundtrack. It's not really a fun soundtrack to listen to though. Silent Hill 1 is like a nightmare to listen to, but it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be this cacophonous, like just you sound like you're in hell. It's like cool. This sounds like hell. Really well produced hell. But
yeah,
hell.
like it's like Bloodborne. Bloodborne's soundtrack is very it's very unsettling, but it's very well made. Yeah. So you're like,
yeah. So the composer Akira Yamaoka, probably mispronouncing that. This is from Silent Hill 2. This is Laura's theme of Laura. I love Silent Hill. I didn't really play past the third one, so whatever. But yes, this song is awesome. It's super. I don't know. There's just something about if you look at the rest of the soundtrack, which is like sounds like someone's having a spasm in an industrial band's like recording room. It's just like anvils and screeching noises, and then you have this song that's like an instrumental Cure B-side.
Yeah,
like it's just really weird. Like I don't know,
like, acoustic.
Yeah, it has it sounds like something from some goth wave band from 1985.
Like a Tears for Fears song or something.
Yeah, I really love it. I like that kind of music anyway, so it's like it lines up perfectly.
It's a really good song.
But yes, it's Theme of Laura coming up on Critical Beard Radio. It almost sounds like Echo and the Bunnymen. Like it has like a, I don't know, it has a very specific, I don't know the way he recorded it. It has a very distinct style. I love it. It's strange because it sounds like just an instrumental B-side. It's like, where's the singing? But yes, that's my. None of these are in any sort of order, by the way. Anyone who's wondering if these are ranked. They're not ranked.
No, I don't know. It's hard enough to do a top 10, man.
Yeah, it's hard enough to do. And honestly, my top 10 is pretty much like the 10 best I could think of right now.
Oh yeah, like, if you give me a week, I'm gonna come back and
give a top 200.
We're gonna have to do an episode 2 of this. So I just hope you all know that.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah, baby.
Oh yeah.
So next up on the list, I was gonna say, damn it. I had something else to say about that song, but and my brain just turned off and went to hell.
Oh no, you went to Silent Hill.
Shit. Oh man, I had a thought. Maybe I'll bring it back up when I think of it. So my next Jam-a-rooney is a little thing called Another maybe a little on the nose, but I don't care. Metroid Prime, but not the title screen. The menu select. When you're selecting a save file, it's this. It's really weird because it's my favorite song, like in the entire. And it's such a short loop, but it is my favorite, most ambient and sci-fi thing ever. If the Mass Effect sci-fi is like the one
they're very similar.
To, if that's the one you're listening to when you're in the spa, this is the one you're listening to after you got the massage and you're sitting in that room and you're about to go to your job interview in space world or whatever. And you're just listening to this. And it's getting you. This one gets me pumped a little, like the other one is more relaxing, but this is still like, again, very sci-fi. And let's check it out.
Metroid Prime menu select theme. Whoa, technical difficulties.
Oh, buddy. Thanks for sticking with us, guys.
Pretty much anything with theremin, I'm pretty much sold on, honestly.
Dude, theremin is so good. Dude, I love it so much. I want a damn theremin so bad.
Oh man.
It's just like, and I don't even know if that's actually a theremin or if that's just like a mimicked theremin.
Yeah, it sounds like
just a keyboard,
like a synthesis of a theremin, but it still gives that, kind of like, whenever I hear theremin, I just think of I immediately think of sci-fi.
It has my favorite things ever, all put together, right? It has this, so it has this like organic, creepy bug, like weird crackling happening underneath everything. Like this weird, like a bug is evolving into a super bug, and then and then you have the monks. So you have this this Terminator style, and then you have the monk chanting, and then you throw in a theremin. I mean, you got me, babe. You got me good. That is such a good fucking track, and I always thought it was crazy that it was just the save file select screen. It's not even the main menu. It's the save files. It's like, okay, so just, again, this is another one of those where I would just sit on that screen and listen to that song loop because it's so fucking good.
That's the thing about video game music kind of gets brushed under the rug by, even most gamers, they don't think about video game music, but good video game music, you don't really think about, you don't really notice because it's so good, right? When it's bad, you're just like, wow, this is taking me out of the experience.
Mm-hmm.
But when you start actually listening to it, it's just, especially older stuff, because it's just genius how they had to write around limitations of size and instrumentation, and they had to make these things. They had to arrange them so that they would loop indefinitely and not drive the person insane.
And
that's just,
and it really is it's one of those things, like you said, you don't realize how genius it is until you look back on it. And that's why I had to put a few more modern stuff on my list, but it was harder for me because I was like, it's not like, it doesn't have nostalgia built, that nostalgia hasn't grown into my fucking being yet. Like some of these older songs, like when I hear Metroid Prime,
ones you haven't heard of.
I just want to play Metroid Prime, or when I hear the Dark World and stuff, I just want to be like, oh my god, where's my Super Nintendo? But anyways, it's another fantabulous track.
That's a good, man. When are they gonna come out with the freaking Prime trilogy?
Dude, please.
What the heck? I don't understand.
I'm going to break down and cry.
It's so easy for them to do that.
It's probably been made for 2 years. It's probably just sitting on their little shelf and they're just waiting for the time to release it. But Nintendo's only letting us know what's coming out in 1 month, less than a month. All we know about is Mario. Mario's coming. We're like, thank you, I will play the hell out of it. But what? Like,
all right.
What's your next track, sir?
My next track is a more modern game from a PS3 era. Little Big Planet. I freaking love the soundtrack for Little Big Planet. I feel like it gets overlooked. Like, I mean, it made kind of a splash when it came out because it was one of the only games that used like almost a movie soundtrack kind of quality to it, where they just collected a bunch of music from bands and put it in their game, which not a lot of games did that, and not a lot of games really do anymore.
Yeah.
But such a great soundtrack, a very eclectic soundtrack. This one is a song called Battles a song called Atlas by a band named Battles.
Battles.
And I got when I remember when this game came out, I got deep into Battles' discography. Super cool, weird band. And this is just super weird, cool song with like weird modulated vocals and like a jumpy little guitar riff. It's just weird, and I love it. Let's see. Song.
That is a dissonant nightmare song. Don't listen to that song if you're having a panic attack.
Definitely not when you're having a panic attack. Definitely if you're not on a lot of drugs or anything. You probably won't have a good time.
Even though the people who wrote that were absolutely on drugs.
They look like they were. Yeah.
That is it's kind of a halfway point between like an industrial like song and like a 90s like just a weird 90s like grungy like almost like punk, like a grungy punk.
They do. The band themselves have a really interesting kind of sound. Like they're very rhythm driven, and they have really very jumpy guitar rhythms, and
because that drum beat is a straight punk. That's a straight up punk song, like straight up like. You know what's really funny is there's that drum beat. I know you're probably gonna hate this because I'm sure you don't like this, but I do. It does remind me a lot of the beginning of like a Muse song, like just because
I don't hate Muse. Why would you think I hate Muse?
I don't know. I just assume that everyone hates Muse because I love Muse. I've seen them live. They're great.
I've only really know that one single they put out, and I freaking loved that single. The Knights of Sidonia.
Knights of Sidonia.
Absolutely
so fucking good.
Amazing song. Great music video. Never followed through on their discography, but I love that single though.
Yeah, I know there's one of those bands people like to like fucking shit on because they're successful. You know, like they're like make tons of money and
jerks,
hot girlfriends and stuff. So it's just like
but yeah, I like games that use real world music. So yeah,
it's a really cool idea for the just the soundtrack in general. It's like doing like what Fallout 3 or Grand Theft Auto would do, except instead of using famous songs that are already big, they went and used songs from bands that aren't big yet that you wouldn't
or like
know
even
song.
like Kojima's tried to do that for a couple of games. He always tries to like get bigger, like he just tries to get real world music into his games. And he finally did with Death Stranding, which Low Roar is like now one of my favorite bands ever. Just like, dang.
Oh yeah,
this is like Radiohead but good. Speaking of radio, it's Radiohead, but good. No, it is Radiohead, but good. I don't really like Radiohead very much, but
they have some good albums. I think they're a little overrated, but I think they have some good tracks.
Yeah, their second and third album were good, but they put out a lot of work.
I liked In Rainbows as well, but it's just me.
You would. But yes, what's up next, Cardinal?
The next song on our list, Meatball, is going to be a dear favorite of mine. This is one of those no-brainer for me that's like just always going to be my answer. Like if you're like, what's one of your favorite video game songs of all time? I'm like, this one. Because this is like the song that made me realize that I loved Iron Maiden. But I didn't know I liked Iron Maiden until I was like, that's like the Mega Man song, which is the Mega Man X.
It's so good.
Spark Mandrill stage.
Spark Mandrill, absolutely amazing. The Mega Man X soundtrack in general is superb.
So good.
Like, there's just something like Japan has always had like musical. Like they've always really been interested in metal and jazz in terms of like fusing. Like it's really interesting how like they're just like of all the Western music styles, they're like metal, jazz. Come on over.
Almost like in the Xenoblade 2 Torna, the battle music's different because I guess you're in a different continent. You're on a different Colossi or Titan or whatever, and the battle music is super jazzy. It's like, and it's like Persona picked up the jazz thing, and like you're right. It's they're always so just into like metal and jazz, which is such I feel like an American and British thing.
Like metal and jazz do have some similarities, so
it's true. They're both awesome.
Yes.
Let's listen to.
They both have a lot of noodling on instruments.
Yeah.
So maybe Japan just likes noodling.
They love noodles.
I'm glad you said that.
Let's give a listen to Mega Man X Spark Mandrill.
Spark Mandrill. What is a mandrill anyway?
No one knows. You can't ever figure out.
That's one of the most perfect loops, like because it has like
so
it has
short.
Like, yeah, because it's like almost a perfect song because it like has this like little verse, then it's just like there's really great chorus, and then it's just great like solo, and then it just cool drum breakdown, and then loop. Just like
and that drum breakdown is nuts too. What is with that? It's because it's so bizarre. It's like
yeah, it's like almost it feels like, more organic than it feel like it should.
Yeah,
it feels like a real drum breakdown.
It should be a more mechanical thing because you think that this person made this all just like in a program or something, but it's like
they did, which is incredible.
But it's just like the fact that they chose to go that direction instead of just going the simple version of just like having it be like a like
they could have easily done that.
And from what I understand, man, I've followed tons and tons of playlists of Mega Man songs and all kinds of things, and there's plenty of favorites like Wily's from 2, and there are tons of other ones, millions huge. But Spark Mandrill's not one that people seem to agree is like one of the better Mega Man songs.
It's good to know that people are wrong because
it's very Because at one point I was like looking, I was like, what are the best Mega Man songs? I want to listen to a bunch of Mega Man songs. Like nobody's list had Spark Mandrill on it.
Wow.
And if they did, it was like down the bottom. Like I was like, what the hey y'all wrong with shit.
Losers.
But It's such a good song. So fucking good.
Very good.
What is your next track, sir?
My next track is speaking of Kojima, I have to put a Metal Gear song in here. I love the Metal Gear soundtrack. I had to put one. This one is a boss battle theme. There's just something about. I love the name of the song. I love the weirdness of the song.
Yeah.
Speaking of jazz, it's this weird screeching,
crunch.
this weird dissonant, abstract, like jazz techno song. It's super weird. It works surprisingly well as a boss fight theme. It's just that once that electronic beat runs up, you're just like, it's a super cool song. And the title is cool, but doesn't make any sense. It's Metal Gear Solid 2, Yell Dead Cell. That like classic early 2000s Harry Gregson Williams kind of feel, you know? It sounds like something pulled from like Phone Booth or The Rock, but mixed with like
I was gonna say
weird like
it's got that
screeching
like
jazz thing. It's great.
It's got that like 90s early like 2000s like 007 kind of string section thing in it, but it's like if they brought in Trent Reznor and King Crimson to like
some of the stuff
help write like some of the weird shit that's happening.
Actually, a lot of these the jazz moments remind me a lot of the mid to late 90s David Bowie, when he got really into like jazz and really into like ethnic music, like world music and stuff.
David Bowie and King Crimson are the same thing. I mean,
whoa, man, you about to step on some toes, brother.
Hey, you can't throw a rock at a cat and expect to get a bowl of cereal. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, you know what? Sometimes you can make a violin out of a horse.
But no, just most of that weird that weird jazzy crazy shit that it reminds me of some of those more dissonant moments of King Crimson but
it definitely has a progressive rock kind of fusion, like a fusion kind of thing.
Yeah, it's got that, but then it's got the techno babble of like a 9 Inch Nails song or something, and it's like it's all over. It's all over the place. If that's the song, if you aren't having a panic attack,
but you want to have a panic attack,
to have one.
It is very panic inducing. It is very panic inducing. But all right, what's your next one? Top 10.
All right, John. My next pick has got to be. This is maybe. I'm not gonna say it is. This might be my favorite song on my list, or my favorite song of all time. This is. God, this track is crazy. This is work of pure genius. This is Earthbound. When you're towards the final boss. And you face Pokey, who was like your neighbor, your best friend. It's called Pokey. Pokey means business.
When should I start this? Because I know it kind of transitions.
This one, I don't know, man. I feel like you almost need to listen to a little more of it to get like the whole business, because it's just basically it starts out like a Double Dragon song from the NES. And then it molds into a Doom song from like SNES Doom, right? Like that's where it goes. It becomes it goes into this like light kind of arcadey do 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 do, and then it just gets nuts. But this is a game that was, most of the songs are so joyous and like and they're just either joyous or strange, but never
menacing.
Never like menacing and really crazy, unless there's a lot of dissonant stuff in there, but it's more ambient dissonance. And this track is just fucking chef's kiss, man. Let's check it out.
Man, Pokey means business. Tried to pick a good spot that kind of transitions. Like a legitimate like metal song. It doesn't sound like a parody of a metal song.
No,
like,
that's
I've never heard of
like a joke.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a joke. It sounds like, I mean, they have the double bass in there, like a double bass in a Super Nintendo game. Like, what kind of crazy nonsense is this?
And the way that starts too is it like, because the beginning of that is this it's all chip tunes, and so it's very like I said, the beginning it starts out like NES chip tune, and then it comes in with that like that 16-bit, but like late 16-bit, almost like that really late 16-bit, where they were really pushing everything and to sound as much like a metal guitar as they possibly could.
Yeah.
And the thing I can compare it to the most is Doom, but it's like,
but even Doom, like, I mean, even Doom was like, they obviously took tons of like musical references from actual metal songs. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So it's like the Doom soundtrack is almost a parody in a sense, because it's like they're just kind of mimicking popular metal songs, but this just sounds like straight up like this sounds like this could be like Lamb of God or something.
Yeah, an actual orchestrated metal song, but and that's what's so brilliant about that whole game is that it's a joke on the surface level. That whole game is just a satire, but underneath is just like the deepest shit ever. It is such a deep, just a deep game with a deep feelings and storyline. The end is just such a like, it's just such a like crazy experience, and it's this full of emotion, and you're angry and you're scared and you're hopeful and you're like, and then it's like that game is just builds and builds and builds, and that last confrontation is, I remember when that song kicked in, I went and got my brother. I was like, dude, listen to this. And he was like, is this still fucking Earthbound? And I was like, yes, this is Earthbound. Dude, I showed that track to Heather yesterday. I was like, if you had to guess what video game this was from, what would you guess? She was like, I don't know, like a late Mega Man game. Like, I don't know. It's very metal. And I was like, what if I told you this was from Earthbound? She's like, Earthbound? And I was like,
the colorful one with the kid in the bat?
The little kid in the backpack who runs around like fighting hippies. Yeah. Yeah, it's a truly wonderful piece of music.
what kind of metalhead wouldn't want to go around with a bat beating up hippies? I mean, let's be real.
Yeah, Ness really was metal, man.
He was metal, dude.
Ness was metal as fuck. And then he goes into a metal body.
He literally becomes metal.
You're literally all metal. You're all robots when you're fighting that fight anyways.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. That had to that's funny, man. That's funny.
But anyways, I love that. Please listen to all of that song, because just a tiny clip can't do it justice.
Well, we will have a link to the complete list,
yes,
so you can listen at your leisure.
Yes,
we'll have that in the diddly boodly ding dong doo.
Click on the description.
On the description. All right, next up for me. I was telling you earlier, Sega Genesis is probably my favorite. Like instrumentation, like video game wise, it has a really gritty, like electronicness to it that I just love. That nothing else sounded like it back then.
Yeah,
and nothing
Genesis
really sounds like it
tracks
anymore.
sounds so different from Super Nintendo tracks.
It's just because Super Nintendo, like you said, Super Nintendo tried to be as realistic as possible where Sega tried to be more badass as possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they leaned into that cool factor.
How cool can we get?
How cool were we do? They did do what Nintendo don't. This is a Nintendo. This is Alien 3. Not a very good game. When you think about Alien 3, I don't know if you remember Alien 3, but it's a super depressing, drab, like nihilistic. It's just not a fun movie to watch. As good as the movie is,
I actually don't remember like anything about Alien 3.
It's a fine made movie. It's just not a fun movie made to watch. But the video game.
I know. I totally remember the video game though. I do. I remember the game much more than I remember the
has some of the most upbeat like electro out there. I love this song. This
game has great music.
Main title screen part 2. Great. It's catchy. Yeah. I love that song.
That I remember that game just having that deceptively like awesome like title song, and there's also some other music in that game that's really cool.
Yeah.
But and it's funny because at the time it was funny when I was a kid. I wasn't allowed to watch Alien, but I was really obsessed with Alien. So I would play all the video games.
That's why you weren't allowed to, because
I played all the games and I collected the Xenomorph action figures and stuff, but like I hadn't seen the movies yet. So like I was like all about it. I was like, dude, yeah, man, I got the gorilla Xenomorph. But like I don't know. I had no context. Like the
like,
games
you mean
were
the Alien, like Alien vs Predator from the arcade?
Yeah, it was that's great game.
Honestly, it was kind of hard to pick. I had to pick a Sega Genesis era song that I loved because I loved so much of it. I was gonna put Echo the Dolphin on here.
That's some good.
Really cool, like ambient, like if like Enya took a bunch of ecstasy and went to a techno club. Super weird. But
I started playing that game with my the Genesis that you're gonna get. I started playing with my niece and nephew when they were staying here. They were we're playing like Streets of Rage and stuff on there.
Really great soundtrack.
Oh god, that opening song is
astonishingly good.
Yeah, and they were playing that, and they were like, and they were like, my niece looked at me. She's like, "Do you have anything like more like easy, like kind of like relaxing or whatever?" And I was like, "I got you covered, girl." I threw on Echo the Dolphin.
But the thing is, Echo is super hard and kind of terrifying sometimes.
It is hard. I forgot. I was like, and then she was like, "I don't know where to go," and then I'm like,
"Oh yeah,
where do you?" I played this intro like a million times, but how do I not remember where the fuck to go? And I always forget that you have to fly out of the water and jump over.
And Echo, like it was like I think it was one of the first games I remember being like sold as like a like non-violent game. Like there's no violence in that game. Like you don't attack anything. You don't defeat any, like, you know what I mean? There's no attacking or violence. You're just this dolphin who's trying to save the freaking ocean from aliens or something. It's like tight.
Aliens 3.
Aliens again.
Hashtag bring back Echo, please.
Right? Imagine that with like AAA graphics swimming under the sea.
And then
music.
At the very end, the final boss is the shark from Maneater crossover. Confirmed.
Wow.
Blew your mind.
All right, next up from the Cardinal.
Next up for the Cardinal, we're looking at a real good game, solid game, one of the best, one of my favorite games I've ever played. The game is good. The song is
good. The game is good.
The game is good.
It's good.
It's actually really good. I love this game more than most people. I think a lot of people have more issues with it than
I do. I did have problems with it, but that's neither here or there.
Gorgeous visuals, and more importantly, one of the best soundtracks of like this generation. The soundtrack in this game is insane. This is from the game Octopath Traveler on the Switch. The track is called "Daughter of the Dark God," which is such a cool fucking name for a song. And this song is originally only heard in a side quest. You actually don't hear it in the main campaign, but I think it might be at the very end, but I can't remember yet. It plays 3 times. There's 3 different times you hear it, but I think the first 2 are only in side quests. But yeah, the first side quest is called Daughter of the Dark God, so that's why it's called
Octopath.
That.
But one of the greatest names for an RPG. It's such a Japanese name, Octopath Traveler.
What does that even mean?
Well, it means that there's travelers that walk on 8 separate paths. Come on,
yeah,
dude.
No, I
have to walk?
I get it, but that's not a word.
It's exactly.
You can't make words.
Japan loves word salad. They're just like Octopath Traveler. I remember when they came out, we're like, is that a placeholder name?
And they were like, yeah, it was. It was
like Project
Octopath
Traveler.
And then
everyone's like, they're gonna change it, and they're like, no, we're writing down on this. All right, so daughter.
This is Daughter of the Dark God.
Whoa. Shit. That's pretty intense.
Song's fucking dope. It's like you're fighting this like chick who's transformed into a giant like fucking like demon cobra, and so it's a boss fight, and you're fighting this giant fucking cobra, and that boss fight is just so cool. And when that, if you listen to the full track, there's a part where that like the opera comes to a head, and she gets like really really high, and she's like, oh, and then it's all just like da 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 da. It's like just fucking awesome, man. That song is so fucking good. That whole soundtrack is brilliant, and it's full of really epic tracks and also really relaxing tracks, which is like my favorite type of soundtrack. So yeah, man, I absolutely love I love, dude, when they throw
you like the operatic dramatis.
I love dramatic epic opera, like especially when a song's already epic, because that whole soundtrack is just tons of strings and epic like, you know, rhythmic parts and stuff. So you're not expecting it, and so you're fighting the snake woman, and it's just like super intense, and then like then when that opera comes in, it's like, oh, another level of fucking epic. Like it's just, I don't know, it's just fucking cool, man. So good, so good.
Yeah, I think my favorite, I mean, it's not on this list because it's a duh, but
Final Fantasy VIII.
No, Final Fantasy VI.
Oh, the 6, yeah. There's lots of opera stuff in Final Fantasy.
I forgot the name of the song. The song when you fight Kefka, that like 8-minute long, like it's an actual like opera of like actual like impressive.
Oh shit! What is that called?
What is that called? It's
amazing. Heaven? No. The Lord, something Lord, right? There's no way to know.
Yeah, we're never gonna
find out. If only my phone was not on a tripod. Maybe, should I write a letter?
Dancing Mad.
Dancing Mad.
What an amazing song.
Yeah,
like
that's a great one.
Just super great.
And then there's some really good opera shit in 8 as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Uematsu
really good.
obviously loves opera.
I mean, how you really, once you go to a point where you are playing a song that's basically metal, and then you have opera over the top of it and like chorus like voice, like you just you can't go anywhere after that.
You've kind of reached the ceiling of intensity,
Once if you're in space and you're fighting a final boss in space and there's a metal opera song happening, that's the end of the game.
It's true. That's true. That's a JRPG 101.
What's your next pick?
My next game is another Sega Genesis game. I actually used this song for the intro of your Cardinal reviews because I love it so much. I love this song.
Where that's from.
Yes.
I was like, I know where that's
from. I know this song. This is Earthworm Jim 2. This is Lorenzo's Soil. Absolutely amazing soundtrack. Tommy Tellerico, I think he does a lot. He did a lot of really, really great, a lot of really great 16-bit work.
Classic Tommy.
Classic Tommy, am I right? But I love the beginning of the song, and I love the melody. So you like the really intense, metal operatic epicness. I love the real chill, moody.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the chill mood. Give me the chill mood. I'm a chill guy. Just don't cross me.
That's definitely an example of a song that could not have existed on the NES or SNES because that synth is so deep.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
because I mean Earthworm Jim 1 and 2 were on. I mean, it was cross-platform, but man, like if you listen to that,
was totally different.
Yeah, if you listen to that Super Nintendo soundtrack, it's just like wow, like. Earthworm Jim is a perfect example of like, it's like a joke, but Genesis could do what Nintendo just couldn't with that type of sound chip. They just couldn't make sounds like that. So good.
Also, the music was great. It was really hard as fuck. Those games were so hard, but also
pretty tough.
Some of the best graphics. I don't know that there was ever any better graphics. I think that they may have like topped that chart. I think there's like a few games that hit that ceiling, but man, visuals.
I loved Earthworm Jim. It had my type of comedy. Like it had that like weird, like had that Ren and Stimpy weirdness.
Yeah, I was gonna say that Nickelodeon, Nickelodeon.
Yeah, it had that certain je ne sais quoi that I enjoyed. Really like goofy and like gross humor and like puns, like. The princess you're trying to save her name is Princess What's her name? Like that's her actual name.
What's
like,
the cat that's in hell? What's the hell?
Heck
the cat.
Just like really stupid humor like that. I love it. That's like right up.
That boss fight alone was like.
Oh yes.
Maddeningly.
The boss fights were the hardest part of that game. They got really tough. They got really tough.
They sure put a lot of tires everywhere.
Woohoo!
It sounds like Mario out of context, but it's like totally not like.
Yeah, that's funny.
All right, so moving on. I probably shouldn't have put these back to back.
That's okay. We don't have to do them in order right here. We can do them in whatever order you want.
let's do Chrono Cross, Time Sky.
Now this is like the ultimate duh song for me because
Yeah,
it's like one of
I
the
know.
greatest intros to a JRPG in history. But on the other hand, it's Chrono Cross, so it's like
So
I'll allow it.
this definitely contends with like one of my favorite songs of all time, and it to me it combines almost everything I love about music in video games. It's just this like total like like representation of everything that I love about video game music, and it's so fucking cool. It's such an awesome track. It's not super long, and
Yeah.
it evokes such emotion, and you're just
Yeah,
like, what is happening?
it's
And it's
very
just
stirring. It's a very stirring opening, and like it really gets you pumped. It's just like
it
it
just,
does exactly what an intro song should do.
I mean, you're just like, I need to know what happens in this game.
Yeah.
It's like this all like this is amazing.
Plus, it has one of the coolest names ever. I always thought this was a super cool name. It's kind of on the nose, but it's like evocative at the same time.
Yeah,
Time's Scar.
Time
It's just
Scar.
it's just cool. It's just
Yeah.
a cool name. It's kind of on the nose, but I don't care.
Yeah, it's
Whatever.
all of this is on the nose. It's fine.
Yeah, whatever. Like, okay, I remember this is my story. I remember 1999, maybe 1998. It was the lead up to the release of the game,
Probably
and like
99.
like going online at school to whatever website it was. It might have been Square's website, and watching a 120 resolution
Tiny
QuickTime
little
movie,
condensed video,
like this
yeah.
QuickTime movie that was this big, with the worst like resolution in history. And just watching that, because that was like the teaser trailer was the opening, and just being the most pumped I've ever been for a video game.
Dude, yeah, and it was just like, I mean, I know people have mixed feelings on the like actual like game itself and how it turned out, and of course how it wasn't as much of a sequel as I think people wanted it to be, but
Yeah.
like the music, like that song alone, I almost put what's it called? Mirror to Another World. Is that what it's called? The overworld.
That like kind of like
Shit. What? Yeah, it's the overworld. I think it's the overworld music. Where I would just like go to sleep, like leave it on and just like sleep. But this one to me evokes just every emotion about like how badass video games songs can be, and it just like it's this beautiful Celtic opening. It's just this flute, and it's just this somber, sorrowful, meandering.
That's
just
Mitsuda. He loves the Celtic.
And then it just like it seems like it's just going to be this kind of like really slow kind of sorrowful melancholy kind of opening, and then the strings just like you said, like stir you. You become stirred, and you're like, what is happening? What is happening?
Like, I don't know what's happening, but I need to go on an adventure right now.
And then when that and then it's just so man, it's such a cool fucking song, and I still don't think there's been another video game song that reminds me of it, or even like that I can think of that just like has that same kind of that punch. But
maybe Final Fantasy VIII's opening song comes close in terms of like bombastic stirring.
But
that's it. That's like the only one I can really think of. And maybe Wild Arms opening I really like, because it's basically an Ennio Morricone song but in a JRPG. So
I just played Wild Arms again the other day, but I don't remember the opening theme very well. I don't know. Maybe I just did. Maybe I didn't listen to it. Maybe I was just like, I want to play a game.
Give me a game now.
But and then that whole brilliant part later on where like everything drops out and it's just
See, then the greatest part is okay. One of my favorite things about video game music, well, mostly JRPG composers, because they love motifs, they love reoccurring motifs, and Chrono Cross. I mean, even in that intro song, it 2/3 into the song, it breaks way into the Chrono Trigger theme, but it's different enough that you don't really recognize it immediately. You're like,
they throw like
that's freaking Chrono Trigger.
They throw Chrono Trigger theme in there a few times in a few different tracks, and they also do that with Corridors of Time and a couple of other ones.
Fantastic.
But it's so well done. It's so masterfully produced and done to where you almost don't realize that it is. But you're like, if you're like, wait, play that back.
Play that back again.
So there's nothing more. I mean, I can't say like good enough shit about this. Please go listen to the full song if you've never heard this before.
Just go listen to the soundtrack. Go listen to the entire Chrono Cross soundtrack.
Yes,
I've heard people say it's terrible, which I mean.
Wrong.
People have different ears, but I mean, there's wrong, and then there's just wrong. And
it's like you got Van Gogh ears over there.
It's like you can not like it, but to say it's like bad, I mean, that's just wrong because it's well produced. It just might not be for you.
I've not heard that, but
really?
that's an interesting take. It sounds like people love to hate stuff that people love. To
get out of here. All right. Speaking of hot.
Speaking of hot, what you got?
My next take is a relatively new game. When did this come out? Like 2013?
2015.
12? Really?
Hotline? Yeah. 2015, I believe, is when it came out. That was when I first played it. It may have come out on PC in 14, but
anyway, sure Hotline Miami. I remember when I was working at Game Over, and my assistant manager, we would listen to video game music, through YouTube on the speakers, and she would listen to the soundtrack over and over, and I would just one day I just kept hearing, I'm just like, what the hell is this? Because I had never really heard this type of music before, like the chill wave, the whatever the hell the kids call it these days, the aesthetic. I don't know what the hell the kids call it. But I was like, what the hell is this music? It was like Hotline Miami, which sounds super dumb, but then I played it. One of my favorite games, and the soundtrack. This is a great song. This is my favorite song in the game, because like after you're done just massacring people, and like you're done with your task or whatever your task, and you're walking out and there's just blood everywhere, and you just get in your car and the most badass chill drive song plays, and you're just like, yeah, I just killed like 20 people.
Have you seen that movie Drive? It's very much Hotline Miami.
The one with the guy with the face?
Ryan.
That's his name.
The guy from Blade Runner. 2039.
No, it's on my list, but
yeah, it's good. Check it out.
But yes, this is Hotline Miami 1. The song is just called Miami.
think
It's
Hans
just-
Zimmer gonna sue somebody. It's great. Yeah, that's a great one. Yeah, it's just every time I hear that song, I just think of Blade Runner.
Really?
Strangely enough, because
I don't get that at all. I just get, hey, I just killed 20 people, and I'm going to like have a really nice, cool drive back to my apartment in Miami with the wind in my hair, and I just killed a bunch of people.
That's why why can't we think of his goddamn name? The dude who's literally in the Hotline Miami and Blade Runner, and we can't think of his name. Ryan
Gosling.
Thank you. But yeah, Drive is the same way. It has that super synth thing, and it's about a guy who kills people.
And he has a call.
Yeah, it's very much like Hotline Miami, the movie. But Hotline Miami's great though, man.
I just love the juxtaposition of like this super ultra violent thing, and then like a nice. It's like a. I don't know. Every time I beat a level, because some of those levels are super hard, and you're just like all tense. You tense, and you beat the level, and you walk out, and it's just like super calming. Like
it's like, you did it. It's okay.
Thank you. This level's over.
It's almost to me. It's almost like that guy's.
Yeah.
Like you're with the character where you're stressed and you're killing all these people, and then you're like freaking out. You're on like the borderline of like this like insane breakdown, this nervous breakdown, and then you get back in your car, and then it's like this. I feel like it was the dude's like weird like alter ego that kicks in. And it's just like everything you did is
everything
fine.
you did is fine.
Everything is fine.
Yeah,
you're fine. You're definitely not an insane villain.
Exactly.
Who wears animal masks.
Yeah, that's why I love. Other than the song being really cool, like I love that just the use of it, because you're done. You just got done doing this terrible thing, and you feel cool afterwards, which you should not feel cool after you do things like that.
It's almost like his drug or something, like kicking in. It's like this weird like
very cool. Very cool.
If you haven't played Hotline Miami, absolutely go out and play Hotline Miami. If in like an indie hitman kind of thing strikes your fancy. Also, if you have played it and you love that game, please go play Katana Zero, because that game is very similar, but it's 2D instead of top down. But it has real similar music, very similar themes.
Is it Devolver as well?
It's Devolver. Yep.
I love Devolver. I really hope we get an E3 thing this year, because I always look forward to their presentations.
Speaking of Devolver and as you know, this list, I almost put music from a game called really? Good Lord, the ninja game.
Oh, The Messenger?
The Messenger.
Yeah.
That game also has absolutely freaking brilliant music.
Yeah.
So
it's a cool game.
It's a really cool game.
All right, what's up next, John?
John, I got another one right here for you. We're gonna look at a little song called "The Opened Way."
The Opened Way.
And it's from a game called Shadow of the Colossus.
The Colossi?
Yes. Yes.
It's pretty good. It's pretty cool game.
This game is, everyone, if you know me, it's one of my favorite games of all time. And this is one of the best soundtracks of all time. Dude, picking a song from the soundtrack is like impossible. I forget how many good songs there are. I almost picked one called the Daylight something. God damn it. I can't remember the titles of these songs, because you're not, when you're playing through the game, it doesn't just like pop up on the screen. Like,
you're not. This isn't a Kojima game.
Like, and like I was gonna say, it's kind of like nice in Kojima game when it like pops up with a little title, like an MTV music video.
Yeah. Pop up video, thanks.
This is called "The Opened Way" from Shadow of the Colossus. such emotion.
That's some really great melody work. Like during that second during that second part. That's really good.
It's. I mean, it literally like it sounds like someone walked up to a guy and said, "Hey, I need you to write a song that's gonna match a like young."
Let me describe the scene.
Yeah, it's this young swordsman who's trying to save his dead lover in this strange world, and you're climbing these giant creatures. I need you to capture that where you're like climbing. You're trying to climb a giant
Can you do that
creature,
for me?
and he does it like. Yeah, he does it like 18 different fucking times because he's like, there's multiple like ones, and then it's like, it's just crazy, man. That's such a fucking great song. Such a great song. I believe that's the song from the second Colossus.
That is a game. That is a game I need to replay. I have not played that game since. I don't know. Probably the PS2. Probably like.
Oh yeah, you need to at least play the remake, man, because it's just so good. It's such a great remake.
2008, honestly. Mm-hmm. That was a long time ago. It's 12 years ago.
Yeah, it came out in 2005, but it was definitely one of those games where I had that moment, and I remember me saying it like when I stood up on this cliff, and I realized that you could jump up and grab onto the hawks that fly down. Or the falcon, whatever they're hawks, right? Yeah, and you could grab onto them, and you could literally like fly with them for a while. Nothing ever tells you can do that. There's so much of that in that game where like it doesn't tell you could stand up on your horse. It doesn't tell you like any of this shit.
Yeah, I really miss games that don't. What was I playing? Oh yeah, Chrono Trigger. Like there's a surprising amount of depth in the combat systems, and yeah, there's like the training house that all JRPGs have or had back then.
Well, yeah.
But those are all optional. You know what I mean? And it's just like I don't know. It was fun just like rediscovering these deep mechanics. Because yeah, games don't do that anymore. They just like Xenoblade Chronicles 2. You can't say you enjoy those. Hold on a second. I know you're 10 hours into the game, but here's another thing that I need you to read. Okay. It's bad, man. It's real bad.
There's a lot of that in there. I can't say enough good stuff about Shadow Colossus soundtrack. That particular one was the re-recorded from the remake. But it's just as the original is just as good. I mean, it's because it's from PS2 era and they were already doing like orchestrated stuff at that point.
I'm sure it was like bad compression and stuff. Bring it over.
Yeah, they were pretty much just kind of made it better. But it's that game is phenomenal. That soundtrack is absolutely amazing. I know the game's not for everyone. Some people are like, I don't understand why everybody.
I get it. Of all games, I get if you don't like that game. Like I get it because it's you look at it, you're like, so what do? You ride and you put your sword out and then you kill the thing. Really?
What do you do in between the big bosses though? And you're like,
you think, you idiot, you think.
You just ride your horse and you kill it. Sometimes you get to kill a lizard and eat its tail.
Worth it.
No, I love that game. So what's your next pick, sir?
My next pick is this is Animal Crossing New Leaf 4 a.m. Now 4 a.m. specifically. I played a lot of New Leaf on the 3DS. A lot of New Leaf. Like me and Mercedes would just stay up all night and just play New Leaf. So 4 a.m. has a very special place in my heart. And it's just like this. It just sounds like 4 a.m. Like there's like a sparse melody kind of hopping around, and there's kind of like a creeping kind of shh, everyone's asleep. But then there's like a melody that's kind of humming in, like, hey, the sun's about to come up. It's just a really great, weird little song. It sounds like 4 a.m. I love it.
Let's give it a shot.
super calming. It's almost as if the game is telling you, "Yo, dude, it's time to go to bed."
Yeah. It's got like it's a very very relaxing song, but has these tiny hints of like uncomfortability.
Yeah,
Like
it's
small
it's
little
calming, but it's
like
yeah,
weird little dissonant notes that flip
yeah,
in,
because
and you're like,
it's calming, like you're sleepy. It's 4 a.m., but it's also kind of like, shh, everyone's asleep right now. Like
it's
like
like
when you stay up late and you're a kid and you're like sneaking your way to the kitchen or something, like that kind of like. But then like yeah, but then you have that like almost metronome kind of beat going with it. It's cool. It's a cool song. It's weird.
yeah.
It's kind of creepy in a weird sense, but
Yeah, it's got a weird, like very distant creepiness to it. Like it's not creepy,
it's
but
not a creepy song, but it is.
Very good, very good, very good.
Very good. All right, what's up next, John? What's up next on the menu?
All right, John, I got a game that everybody's heard of. Not everybody's played it, but it's called Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. Now, this is another one that I would probably say just right off the bat, like this is my favorite video game song ever. It's because that it's a good song because it's from a game that's not great. The game's not terrible. I think
it's not terrible.
Hate it, but Final Fantasy Mystic Quest is like the worst Super Nintendo Final Fantasy. And like pretty much.
But those are pretty high standards.
Yeah, those are really it's like three of the best games ever made. So, but the music, in my opinion, like especially the battle themes are just absolutely fucking nuts. And the standard battle theme, the boss theme, and the final boss theme are all three of the best pieces of music ever composed by anyone. That music was so ahead of its time, in my opinion. I think like a lot of people go back and listen to these tracks and they're like, holy shit, what is this? This is so badass. And I had to settle on the final boss because of course you fight him in space and it's just so epic.
The JRPG. What the heck are you doing if you're not finding them in some sort of abstract
Spoilers,
space or literal space?
You fight him in the cosmos, and it's absolutely awesome. This is just called Battle 3 Final Boss. I guess.
What else do you need? What else do you need, huh?
Battle 3 is what
Battle 3
actual.
Yeah, that is the actual name.
So good.
It's almost like just surreal about how like what is this song doing in this game?
Yeah,
like, it's almost surreal. It's like, how did this get here? Was it an accident? Did someone owe someone money? Like,
yeah, I don't even know, man. Yeah, I'm just like, yeah, how? Because again, it's the worst Final Fantasy on Super Nintendo. How
it's a mediocre game with just some of the best like
it's like the
metal
best
music
final boss music of all Final Fantasies in my opinion. And One Wing Angel, don't at me, bro. But like One Wing Angel is fine. I honestly feel like that song's a little bit overrated. Maybe it's just because it's been shoved down my throat. But
yeah, we just heard it for years and years.
There's a lot of other Final Fantasy VII songs that are shoved down your throat that I prefer to that, but like, but this one, man, for one, it's just such an underappreciated game, so nobody's ever fucking heard these songs unless you've played through the game or you've just from the, grapevine.
Yeah, thank you, YouTube.
Grapevine.
Yeah, grapevine.
Yeah, unless you've just heard someone say rant about it and you went and jammed it yourself.
Like in a video like this.
Like in a video just like this one, John. And
self-promotion.
But that music is ahead of its time, man. Like, goddamn. Like you said, it doesn't belong. This music doesn't belong in this game. Like, please put it in. I would love for them to make a new Final Fantasy game and just use the music from Mystic Quest and just update it, because no one will know.
Because the game, like you said, it's not a bad game. It's like a mediocre, middle of the road game with really, really watered down gameplay. But then you get this music that's like, the battle themes are like this complex, arranged. Like, it's like, what is this? What is this? What are you doing?
All three battle themes are nuts. Like, they're all nuts. I couldn't tell you. It was so hard to pick one. And but I mean, even the second, the boss theme, Battle 2, is like, and it's just like insane. It's like all over the place, and you're like, what is happening? Who wrote this? Beethoven?
Beethoven?
Better than Beethoven.
Beethoven.
So is this your last one?
No, we got two more.
Two Moss.
Did you know that all classical music we've ever heard is from cover bands?
Whoa,
yeah, did that just blow your mind? Isn't that crazy? Everyone's dead. We're listening to dead people's music.
Okay, let's hear your next track, bro.
Next track is a newer game, Stardew Valley. I really love music in these type of games because it's just, the music is designed to hypnotize you and chill you out. So I mean, that's pretty much like that's what I want in life, is just to be in a happy vegetative state. I mean, come on, for real, especially this year.
You like songs that either totally are like the most relaxing shit ever, or just like super like anxiously weird techno, like like panic songs.
I'm a complicated person. But this is Stardew Valley Fall Ghost Synth. Even the subtitle of the song is Ghost Synth. It's like they wrote this for me. It just makes me feel happy and sad at the same time. Is that normal?
Which is, I mean, to be completely honest, so much of Stardew Valley's soundtrack reminds me of Earthbound.
A little bit, yeah.
It's because it's that.
It reminds me of.
It's a happy song, but for some reason it makes you.
Did you ever listen to the? Gosh, what is the name? The Terra Enigma. It's a Super Nintendo game. It didn't come out here. It came out in Japan and Europe.
Have I played Terra Enigma on like a ROM? I think.
Really, really fantastic soundtrack. I almost put a song on there from here, but that soundtrack reminds me very much of.
Is that a Genesis?
No, it's Super Nintendo.
It's Super Nintendo. Is it like a?
It's like a top down. It's like a top down, like Zelda-ish.
But it's really hard, right?
Yeah, you have to the world is destroyed and you're forced to like rebuild it.
Yeah, And, yeah.
Eventually the series became the Dark Cloud series. Like eventually through like multiple iterations, it eventually became.
They need to bring back Dark Cloud, man.
Because even Dark Cloud had like a seed of like, okay, now you have to rebuild the world, you know. But yeah, that has a great soundtrack too.
But yeah, it's really good. It's very relaxing, and what's cool, I like when there's like relaxing tracks like that, but then they like bust out with like this really crazy time signature.
Yeah.
Because the drums are playing in like 3/4 or something. I don't know what time signature that was. It wasn't counting it out or anything, but it was really weird because the song itself was very linear, and but then the percussion comes in, and it's like, and you're like, whoops, and then like it was like, whoa, that's trippy. That's why it reminds me of Earthbound, because not only because it sounds very similar to some of the Earthbound songs, but like, not that it's derivative, but just
no.
But it's got that like really happiness, but then it has that weirdness to it,
like too. A melancholy kind of weirdness.
Yeah,
because that song just sounds like, I don't know, just sounds like the fall. Sounds like, oh, it's so beautiful, but everything's dying.
Which is like, that's why melancholy is just like my favorite like type of
collie
music. Like, I don't know, I just love melancholy music.
Melancholy is my favorite type of collie.
It's my favorite type of collie. I don't like berry collie. I don't like grape collie. I like melancholy.
Juicy. All right.
So I have one more or two more?
You have two more.
I do?
Yeah, you got
hold on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Two more.
Well. This one is called A Beautiful Song.
A beautiful song.
And
a beautiful song.
You may see a theme in my choices as being melancholy, operatic, epic, sad, fucking crazy epic songs. But this is from Nier Automata. A little context. A beautiful song. It's also called Simone. It's a boss fight. You're fighting this robot who she is completely altered herself, and after you kill her, so it's this very emotional boss fight, and she's just screaming at you. She's shooting lasers and shit, and it's like very bullet hell, and you're like, it's a very hard fight. And then once you finally beat her, and you unlock this her like memories, and you're like looking into her like her conversations and like her thoughts, and she was trying to get this other robot to get her to notice her, and to get him to notice her. And so she kept, and he wouldn't. And so she kept altering herself. And then she was like, I must look pretty. I must be pretty. And so she like keeps altering herself and like changing the way she looked until she became like a freak. Like she looked insane. And then she's like, at least now someone's looking at me, like, or whatever. And it's just such a fucking dark. It's so dark.
That's probably my favorite part of that game. I loved that
was
part.
It's like the you know where there's that part, that like midsection of a really good like RPG like that, where there's just this one storyline that just like sticks in your head. It's kind of like Bloody Baron with The Witcher, you know, like it's got that kind of like that one weird like midpoint, like really just weird and
I wish Bloody Baron was the midpoint of that game.
It's like the front half, like, a beautiful song from Nier Automata.
Beautiful. pretty intense.
This is a very, very epic song. You guys might be getting a sort of a hint of the style of music I like, I think, at this point. I absolutely friggin' love that song. It's also very they do this thing. I don't know if you heard of chaos language.
I think I remember reading an article about
So Near Automata, all of the soundtrack, any of the vocals, because it's such a foreign game, right? It just not like a foreign, it's made by Japanese people, but like it's a foreign game, like it's robots on this like, you know, destroyed planet, like, you know, in the future, you know, it's just, and so, you know, and so the chaos language is basically where they're not singing in the language. These vocals are actually singing in a made-up language called chaos language, and what it is it's like it prioritizes like the melody and the draw of certain syllables over like what you actually need to be saying. So it's actually because like actual lyrics detract from music, you know, because you know it's that weird thing when you hear like a Japanese song that's been like, you know, Americanized, and like they're like, we all fight for freedom.
Yeah,
freedom
it's been
translated,
not localized.
And so that whole game, yeah, it's made up language. So all the vocals are saying it's gibberish, and I think that's fucking so cool because it works for that game too, because that game is so fucking weird, anyways. So it's like
that's
whatever, but yeah, Chaos Language would be an awesome band name.
Hey, that is a good name.
Yeah.
I mean, all of our lyrics should be written by the Chaos Language.
Yeah. Truly epic.
Truly
song.
Outrageous. All right, this is my last pick. This is my final pick. Final pick. All right, so I had to put some sort of JRPG on here. So I'm like, why not put my favorite JRPG with my favorite soundtrack? Xenogears. Yes, this is Xenogears. I don't know. This song sounds like every other song on my list. It's very calming and serene.
Very
melancholy. It's melancholy and like brings a nostalgic tear to your eye.
This one's very music box.
It is literally when you're introduced to this song, it's from a music box. And when I hear the song, I just think of the story, and it's like, oh, that's so sad. That's so sad. I love it.
I think of life and everything.
Like alive and stuff. That'll put you to sleep.
Very, very melancholy. Very.
Yeah, it's so sad.
Very sad. It's so funny.
I mean, the name of the song is called. The name of the song is called "Far Away Promise."
Yeah.
Like that's just song that sounds like a far.
That's such a Japanese song name. Far Away Promise.
Far Away Promise. Beautiful.
Yeah. Very, very haunting and melancholy. So I didn't write it down. What is my final song, Anselmo?
Your final song today is Castlevania 64. I don't know why in God's name you put this on here. Opposing Bloodlines.
Because this song is amazing and this game is terrible. Another reason why you know the song's good because the game is bad.
Or maybe it's just contrast.
Have you heard this rendition?
This specific one? For a little bit. I haven't listened to most of it though. because it's an extended version. All right, this is Opposing Bloodlines from a terrible game. It really is terrible. There's no meme about it. It's not a good game.
It's not the worst game. It's not the best. It's not good. The 5 out of 10. That song kills, man. That's
there
such
it is.
That's such a good song. So that wasn't actually originally. So Opposing Bloodlines is originally a song, I believe, first shown up in Rondo of Blood or Dracula X. And the original song is very much in the vein of the Metalvania type thing, right? So it's like and then this version, like when you deconstruct that song, because so much my favorite Castlevania stuff, I wanted to put Bloody Tears on there, I wanted to put Vampire Killer, but it's like that stuff's also so on the nose. Opposing Bloodlines is up there with some of the favorites, but like this rendition, this deconstructed version of it, and it being not metal, and it just showing you how good Castlevania music is, because even when you pull it down and you just play this like lonely violin and accompanied by this this waltz, the bolero, whatever you call that.
Yeah, it has that like Spanish bolero kind of. Which honestly fits in with the Castlevania aesthetic anyway. Yeah, it really does.
And that's what truly shows what a good tune is like you can play it in any way. You can play it with like solo violin, you can play it with a full metal band, like you can do. That's why so many video game songs, you YouTube them and there's just a million covers of different shit, because so many of those songs are just good.
That's
songs.
True. You don't I mean, I guess this will lead into our final point, but like there's something special about video game music. I mean, it's made for a very, unlike most music. I mean, I guess the only other really, like, you can say it kind of with like movie composing, but it's like even more refined, because it's not just music for something that is already, it's not like music for a cutscene. This is music that's supposed to be adaptive to player input. So it's supposed to cover a vast amount of emotions that the player could be feeling.
Right, because a lot of this
should
music,
cover
you don't
the kinetic.
know.
Yeah, you don't know what the player's going to do, and it has to
What
match.
are they doing? Am I in a menu? Am I fighting somebody? Am I walking around? Am I just adventuring? Am I like, is the game on pause? Like, there's so many things that can be happening where, and that's what, to me, I think, where they're just like, make this appealing. Yeah. So that people want to fucking listen to it over and over again, because they are. Not because we're trying to make a point in a movie where a person's on top of a skyscraper and they're about to fall off and you have to jump and catch them or whatever.
I think they call that like incidental music, like music that is written for a very specific incident, and that's fine music. I mean, that works for movies, that works for cutscenes. Like that's great when you want.
And there's plenty of incidental music that I can listen to in the car.
But
you know,
but for instance, like an overworld theme, that needs to cover every action that the player could do in that overworld. And that's like only video game music. That's the only kind of music that like that's a pretty hefty like, and like the thing that it started with such limited instrumentation, limited memory, and like they had to create these like perfect little like 8-second loops that won't drive the player crazy, that will contain everything that the player should feel in a given circumstance.
The fact that I want to go back and listen to Dark World or the overworld theme of Final Fantasy VI, you know, like the fact that I want to hear those songs, even though I've heard them
separated from the game themselves, right?
Like it's like, how am I not sick of this song? How is it like?
Because it was built to be. It's like they're built to be an adaptive piece of music that's like goes well with whatever emergent gameplay the player does, but also like this earworm. Like they're built to be little earworms, man. Like they're built to be this like high melody, just boom. Like I have Terra's themes in my head right now.
Yeah.
Like, why? Because
all you have to do is mention it. Yeah. And
like,
that was another one. Obviously, there's a bunch of stuff we wanted to put on here, but it's very, that's like, again, that's
if you're watching this, you probably already know all the heavy hitters, and you know why they're so amazing.
Or if you're watching this and you're going, how did they not put, you know, Cosmo Canyon? How did they not put, you know?
You don't have One Winged Angel on here? Yeah. Losers.
And Cosmo Canyon is just, it's a fact that song is better than One Winged Angel.
Okay, we get it. You don't like One Winged
Angel. I'm gonna have a list of Final Fantasy VII songs that are better than One Winged Angel. Genova's theme.
Genova's theme is, or the Genova Birth of a God. That's a great song, man. The song that you fight the Sephiroth fight before One Winged Angel Sephiroth. It's a great song. I'd say that's
I actually like that one. I think I like that one a little more than One Winged Angel. And One Winged Angel is fine. It's just it's very much just like it's a really dark song, and that's it. It's like there's not much more to it. I mean, it's a very epic dark song, but it's not like, to me, I love songs that have these fluctuations of emotion. Like
that's why I think Dancing Mad is my favorite.
Yeah, like Dancing Mad,
it jumps around because you feel like you're in Kefka's head, man. You're just like so many emotions going on in that song.
To me, it's like the Shadow of the Colossus themes. You know, a lot of stuff in that game where it's like it's somber, and then it's intense, and then it's like, and then sometimes like you get on the Colossus head and it's like da 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 da, and it starts playing this like more happy like theme.
Yeah,
that goes into
like a victorious. Yeah, and that's another thing. Like a lot of modern games will have. What do they call it?
Adaptive.
Yeah, it's like an adaptive type of music where like the music itself will change depending on the player's actions.
Which don't really
not a lot of games do that.
How that even works.
I don't know how that works, but man, when that happens in a game, it happens. It's easier to do in a JRPG with a turn-based or active turn-based because there's definitive lines of like different things happening, and I freaking love that when that happens. When you're doing well and like you're doing really well, and like that boss team like pumps up a level, you're like yes, or like you get a lot of damage done to you, and like this like crisis song starts playing, you're like oh shit.
Xenoblade Chronicles does that a lot, where if you take a pretty hardcore mortal blow, and the song will change and will be like and then if stuff's going your way, the song will shift back again, you know, like. And there's so many Xenoblade songs I wanted to put in here too. There's just so many damn songs.
Yeah. No, I think that there's just with gaming music in general, it's a very special. It's a very special thing.
Very special.
It's a very special thing.
Highly encourage all of you to go listen to all these tracks in the description, in their entirety, because they're all fantastic. I would just like listen to one of mine, listen to one of someone's, because it like you'll be pumped and you'll be chilled out, and then you'll be pumped up and then you'll be chilled out again.
The pump chill. That's what we call
the pump and chill.
We call it the pump chill. You know, not sexual at all.
It's definitely sexual.
That's the name of our other band.
Oh yeah, it's definitely sexual. Chaos language. Thanks for sticking around for this episode of the Critical Beard Podcast. This has been a great time showing you guys our favorite tracks. To let us know what you think about, and what are your favorite tracks.
Yeah, let us know in the comments below.
This has been the Cardinal, and this has
been the Meatball. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.